shall we get into our conversation about the 2022 Zach Cregger horror film, Barbarian?
We should.
You should assume, starting this point on, that there's going to be spoilers for Barbarian.
The only thing I didn't like about this movie is the title. I think I think this is a incredibly fun movie. I had a blast with it. So much of the fun in this experience is the structure of the experience and how it reveals itself and the yarn that it tells. There's a certain moment, sort of at the end of Act 1, I guess you would call it, where we cut away, and I just felt
great smash cut. Yeah,
one of those magical moments in movies where you just like, I have no idea what this movie is doing right now, and I'm having a blast. It was smart. It had attention to detail. I mean, so much of what separates a movie like this from being a movie I love and I consider good to something that feels schlocky and a waste of time is how intelligent the characters themselves behave.
Absolutely.
In my view. Yeah. And I feel like at every turn, the movie anticipates how you might be thinking and has its characters behave in a way that's smart and takes that into consideration.
The moment I noticed
that, a couple of moments where you're like, that was incredibly dumb, but it sort of justifies those in the like heightened emotion of that moment. It has really interesting things to say, and then it also, you know, like, and that's just in the first third of like what I thought was already a pretty smart, tense, interesting, tight horror setup. It's just so much fun. It
even does the sort of like meet cute stuff very well between Bill Skarsgård and Georgina Campbell's characters. Like their conversations, he's very awkward and a little weird. She is just like really standoffish, as she should be. Like this whole situation sucks. And then eventually they kind of relax and start talking to each other. And that felt, well, we're almost in like rom-com, or not rom-com, but like very chill romantic movie territory there.
He is in a rom-com. Like he's in a rom-com.
Yeah.
She's in a horror movie. And they don't know that that's the case, right? And I love that we as the audience are like, is he the bad guy? I love that constantly going, are we in a rom-com right now or are we in a horror movie? As I know I walked into a horror movie. You know?
I'm going to say this about the movie. Yes, I get that Georgina Campbell, who's awesome in this movie, she plays Tess. I get that virtually every single one of her actions in this movie is taken out of compassion, right? Compassion for fellow humans. I understand that. Still extremely dumb, in my opinion. Some of it, like I would say a good 90% of her decisions are dumb in this movie. And that was frustrating.
Compassion is dumb, Dave.
Compassion is dumb.
I don't know if Barbarian's going to be in my top 10 movies of the year, but that is like one of my top 10 moments of the year is when she goes back downstairs because Skarsgård's like, look, like, I'm not going to just flee just because you saw some weird ass shit down there. Like, I need to go see it myself. And I'm like, okay, like, that's reasonable for Bill Skarsgård to not want to flee. I also like that there was a kind of romantic connection because it's like, oh, this kind of makes sense that she would want to stick around and see, like, what happens with this guy.
Sure.
But then she goes downstairs and then, like, he's not there. And then at that point, I'm like, get the fuck out. Like, you shouldn't even be down there for
what happens is you hear, help me.
No, it's like, nope. I'm gonna leave and call the police.
He even says nope at some point, like just nope, not happening.
She said nope when she was like, but then she went in anyway. She says nope, and then she goes in anyway, which is exactly how I feel about this whole movie. So then she goes.
At the very least, you text someone your location.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
You say, I'm now walking into the demonic hellhole.
At the very least, you street view the Airbnb before you book it. How is that your revelation the next day?
Yes. But then the whole, I mean, that was an awesome sequence when she like looks around, sees like complete pitch black.
Yeah.
And then the next day, it's like the bombed out ruins of Detroit suburbs. That's very cool. But she goes downstairs, and the whole time I'm thinking, oh, like Skarsgård's behind it. He's doing this to entice her. And I'm saying to her in my mind, get the F out of there. Like, you shouldn't even be there. And then for Skarsgård to be the one that is murdered, and then you like, my mind is barely processing it. And then you've smash cut to this whole other situation. I'm like, what is happening to me? You know, that is just an amazing moment. Like,
the greatest.
At the end, right?
It's that thing that I'm chasing in cinema so often. That just feeling of like, I don't know what is happening right now, but I love it. Yeah.
I like that. I think the Me Too stuff is a little bit half-baked, in my opinion. Like, the Me Too storyline with Justin Long, it feels very authentic, and there's this really chilling conversation that Justin has with his friend in the bar.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
It's very chilling where he's like, and he's describing it from his perspective, and you understand that he hasn't learned anything or isn't registered anything from what's gone on. Like, the movie lands this point effectively, in my opinion, about how men and women move through the world differently. She says it. She makes a text at one point. She's like, "Look, if the situation was reversed, you would have just rolled in here and everything would have been fine. But me, I have to constantly think about it." And then the whole movie kind of makes that point in multiple other ways.
That's why he goes down there at all, is because he's like, I'm a dude. I got nothing to worry about.
I will say credit to the movie for having not just one amazing smash cut, but two. Like, when he kind of goes into the pit and then you see she's still alive and she's like, shh, and then smash cut to now we're finding out who the serial killer is or whatever it is.
Yeah. Just great stuff.
Which is also just like, oh my God, how many more layers are you going to pull back?
So many more layers. Then we go back in time and we get everything. But his character is interesting too, because he's also, it's not just the Me Too-ness of it, because he is a huge asshole, but he's somebody who has money, bought some property, somewhere else, trying to just make money off of the how bad things have been in Detroit, which is a big thing happening too.
He's an asshole in multiple dimensions,
multiple ways. Like, he is so symbolic of the assholery of American culture right now. So that is just him.
We should talk about the creature a little bit. Again, this is kind of where the movie goes kind of full on cartoon for me, because it's like, okay, kind of ridiculous that this super powered naked.
Love it. Like, I love that this
around,
movie can balance all of these things. Like, I love a movie that feels like it's juggling multiple plates at once, right? Where it gives you the great setup, it gives you so many surprises, it has depth and meaning to it, and then at the end it's a monster. It's just a straight up horror movie monster, a great, well designed monster too, just absolutely disgusting looking.
That's one of the things that this movie does, is you're always trying to figure out, the movie's like one step ahead of you. That's the thing, and that's a very thrilling
so
feeling.
fun.
When Justin Long gets to the house, you're like, wait, how much time has passed since the events? You're trying to put together has anything happened to the house since the last event we saw? When is this taking place? Like, you're trying to put it all together, and that's like a fun feeling to be in that situation.
And he sees the stuff that we've seen established, the toothbrush and the bags and stuff, and you go like, is it
with
the same day?
The same shots too, like the same like I think it's a tilt shot that goes down to the toothbrush, and it's like he's having the same realizations. But we've talked a little bit about the opening. I mean, my understanding was that Zach Cregger, who made the film, and the people who wrote it, and I think he wrote it as well, actually.
He did.
But with that, he had made the first 50 minutes of the movie and then couldn't figure out how to end the movie. And I do think that the first 50 minutes is the strongest, in my opinion.
Sure.
I agree.
The Justin Long stuff is good. It's not terrible or anything, but it's like, and there, I love the conclusion. There's so many effective sequences. One of the most effective ones being when she escapes, and again, just get the fuck out of there. I don't know what you're doing. But then she's like, okay, I gotta find police. And then the police don't believe her. And then you're sympathizing with the police in that situation, because you're like, if you're the police and this woman comes up to you and was like, I was in the house and
who's tattered,
do you have any proof that any of this happened? She's like, no. And it's like, okay, maybe we're walking into an ambush or something,
guys. Were you sympathizing with the police there? I mean, because we see her perspective, but literally all they have to do is just help, because she's saying this one thing. Anything, literally anything.
All they have to do is anything.
And it's very pointed that the police are just absolutely useless.
For sure. But I guess I just feel like it would be difficult for someone in her situation, where she'd been underground for 2 weeks,
and she comes out dirty looking
of that. And it's a interesting choice, because most of the time it's the police showing up that resolves the problem, right? And here you're like,
you feel like she did the thing that
everybody tells you to do.
Day. I also like the kind man who rescues them and is like, well, she's never come here before.
That moment. I mean, my entire theater erupted when that happened. So That's when the movie's just leading into being a fun, campy horror movie.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of see it coming. It's like, well, there's no way she's ever gonna get into this incredibly safe area, But anyway, I was just remarking that I think the first 45 minutes is like the strongest, and it's really, really strong. Like
it is.
The kind of back and forth as you're like trying to figure out
what is going on. I
am in real life.
What is going on?
What Bill Skarsgård's deal is.
It's a really creepy
casting.
Guy.
It's great casting because he's playing the most genuine, like sensitive, interesting. Like he's playing the romantic comedy, and A, because it's Bill Skarsgård, and B, because we know we're in a horror movie.
The clown from It. Yeah.
You're like, I don't trust that dude.
No, nothing he's ever done. Yeah.
It's so great because you're constantly just like, oh, he is bad. And then his head gets smashed against the wall
multiple times. Just
and
multiple
then you're like,
times.
I guess he's not the best.
I guess I really misjudged that guy. You know what? Shame on me, I guess.
Gotta check my assumptions against Skarsgård's from now on.
I want to call out just like how well shot this movie is. We've talked a bit about that, but especially once they go underground, reflecting the light off the mirror, and you get like an eerie shine over that hallway. When they're in the underground tunnels, and it's just like complete blackness, and like just the way things are lit and the way the sound design works, I think is really compelling. So first of all, this is Zach Cregger's first feature, right? He is one of the whitest kids you know. He's been working with that group forever. So for him to make like a crazy good horror movie like this, I think is fascinating. I wonder if there's something to good comedians and people who work in comedy applying them to horror. Like there are similar beats there, right? The prestige of it.
Yeah. I think the elements of surprise are key in both genres, right? To have a setup and a turn that you don't see coming and this level of surprise, I think works in comedy and it works in horror as well. So maybe that's the through line or part of it.
Barbarian. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. That was a clip from the Filmcast After Dark. To get access to the whole episode, go to patreon.com/filmpodcast. You can sign up for ad-free episodes as well as exclusive After Darks. You can find the regular podcast at thefilmcast.com. And of course, like and subscribe for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching.